Antoine Walker, and we are going viral. The Warriors and Raptors are getting ready for the finals, but the rest of the league is already working on their summer plans. Jimmy Butler has turned his attention to the next generation of stars. Take a look.
My Gracie said she wanted to start playing basketball, so I got her a coach. Gracie, who's your basketball coach?
Jimmy.
The best coach ever.
Jimmy Butler coaching little Gracie? Oh, God. WNBA, here we come.
Jimmy Butler and Mark Wahlberg are longtime, really close friends, evidently, from what I've read. I didn't know Jimmy Butler was in the coaching business. That's really cool.
No, I think he was in Chicago, Mark Wahlberg. He met him in Chicago, and they became good friends. I think he was filming a movie or something in Chicago, and Jimmy Butler went on set, and they became good friends.
That's nice. Jimmy Butler really trying to repair his image and everything, working with kids and everything. He's messed up a couple locker rooms.
Did you see the background there, see? It looked like it was your old neck of the woods. I think that was up in the Hollywood Hills, where you briefly laid your head.
Hey, man, I did notice that, but don't be giving away where I like to hang out, Nick.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to have people coming to your house in Harlem.
I mean, you talk about where I go out in Harlem?
121st Street. That's where he's at.
Back to Kawhi Leonard.
In the corner with a black and mild. Holla, holla.
Leonard's in the midst of a dominant playoff run where he's averaging over 31 points per game. Clippers head coach Doc Rivers had high praise for the star, calling Kawhi's recent play the most like Jordan that we've seen. He'll have to continue this run to take down the Warriors. Here's Steph Curry on facing Kawhi.
He's a scorer, and he plays at his own pace really well. You try to speed him up, try to show him bodies, or play him one-on-one, and he has confidence to be able to get to a spot. So it's one of those things where one-on-one defense, you got to take that challenge, whoever's guarding him, try to force him into tough shots, understand he's going to make some of them, don't get deflated, get the ball out, go right back at him. But over the course of 48, same thing we do with any great scorer that we play against. It usually is not one person that we're going to leave on an island, but just got to make it tough on them, same way that they try to do to us, no matter who we play.
All right, Antoine, how can the Warriors slow down Kawhi?
They have to have the same approach that they had when they guarded Damian Lillard last series, where they trapped him in a pick and roll, kind of showed him a double team, and make Kawhi become a willing passer, which he is now in his career. He's definitely a willing passer. But you got to get the ball in his hands as much as possible and not allow him to get one-on-one opportunities every time down the floor. You got to show him different coverages, and then you got to hit him with multiple guys. I think obviously this is what it hurts not having Kevin Durant, because now you got another guy who's 7 feet with quick feet that can probably guard him and challenge at the rim. But you got Andre Iguodala, who's used to guarding guys like this with their skill level, this type of skill level. He'll be able to do a pretty good job on them. Then you got to figure out who's going to be that next guy. Is it going to be Klay Thompson? Are you willing to take that chance and get in foul trouble? Jordan Bell, do you trust the young guy Jordan Bell to guard him? Alfonso McKinney, this is his first time in the finals. So do you trust those young guys to come in and give minutes at that spot with Kawhi Leonard, which is a guy who can get you 35, 40 points, and then give a moment he's shown that obviously throughout the playoffs. So you got to double him, limit his touches, make him a willing passer. I don't think you're going to just shut him down, but you have to take the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Well, we have seen the Warriors, and they've played against some other stars. Nick, you mentioned it. You mentioned Damian Lillard, what they did against him. Other stars that they faced, James Harden when they faced him. The biggest problem is that these guys ignited the offense. Let me tell you, when Houston had something, and the reason why Chris Paul was upset was when they put Harden off the ball and they had to play him honest, and Chris Paul was orchestrating the offense, they couldn't trap him. They couldn't do that because they were concerned about Harden. So when you take the ball out of the point, or your primary scorer is not the point guard, it presents a number of problems defensively. So they would have to play uncharacteristically, undisciplined, if they start double teaming Kawhi and he's in the post and he's on the wing. I think that they're going to force Kawhi to pass the basketball as much as possible, but try to stay within their integrity. When they guarded LeBron, they couldn't take the ball out of LeBron's hands because he moved around so much. He didn't handle the ball as much as he's done with the Lakers. So it made it hard to impossible. That's why it became, let's just contain him. Let's be physical with him. I believe the problem for Kawhi is foul trouble. Iguodala and Clay, if they get into any type of foul trouble, they don't have an answer. I don't believe Draymond can guard him for 20 minutes. I believe that Draymond's lack of moving side to side, and Draymond would definitely get in foul trouble. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Warriors will do. This is the worst defensive Warriors team we've seen in this 5-year run, though.
And if they are going to, because I think they will do exactly what you're talking about a fair amount, particularly if Kawhi is the one bringing the ball up the court, which he has been doing at times, Draymond won't be a part of that because Draymond's the key to the 3-man defense they would be running. If they send 2 at him, Draymond's got to kind of play center field. But no matter what defense the Warriors throw at Kawhi, I want the audience to understand the type of problem that's on their hands. 28, 8, and 5 on 53% from the field, 46% from 3. That's Kawhi Leonard the last time he was in the playoffs. This isn't a one-year wonder here. That's Kawhi Leonard, what he was doing until Zaza maimed him by putting his foot under his ankle. Like, so this year's 31, 9, and 4 on slightly actually worse percentages. Like, Kawhi was building the resume of all-around playoff killer up until midway through the third quarter of the Western Conference Finals that the Spurs had a huge lead on before he got hurt. And they didn't play the rest of that series, basically didn't play at all last year, and then he picked up this year exactly where he left off. He had a really interesting quote during the season that I had forgotten, but Kevin O'Connor mentioned on his podcast yesterday, which was, regular season games, he said, are my practices to get ready for the postseason. And Kyrie had similar commentary. And then the postseason came, and he fell flat. Kawhi said that, and he has proven himself right. The load management, the working on the weaknesses in his game throughout the regular season, so he is peaking at the exact right moment, which is to say, no matter what defense they play, if they try to play him straight up, if they blitz him, if they do a little bit of both, if they have a rotation of guys on him, no matter what defense you throw at him, Kawhi is going to hurt you. The question is to what degree, and when you do force the ball out of his hands, who else can make shots, or are those guys going to miss the open shots he generates?
With all that being said, Antoine, let's go back to what Doc Rivers mentioned, that this is the most like MJ that we've seen. What have you seen out of Kawhi in a comparison like that one that Doc made?
He's got some Michael in him because he can score. He has a good mid-range game. I think probably because Kawhi's hurt, plays above the rim a little bit better than Kawhi does as far as attacking the rim. But Kawhi lost a little bit of that with his injury. But basketball-wise, yeah, because he plays both ends of the floor. Michael will guard the best player, do things defensively. And the way Kawhi does it, he knows his spots. He picks his spots. He knows where he wants to go on the offensive end. And if you watch most guys that play in this league now, especially the superstars, they don't really necessarily have those type of games like Kawhi. Kawhi kind of separates himself. I mean, LeBron has a game, to me, I think, obviously James Harden, that style. But every night, Kawhi, he can get you mid-range, he can get to the free throw line 10 times. And he's added the three-point shot to get over 40%. So now he becomes really, really dangerous. And he does have some Michael in him. You don't think about it, maybe because the braids. You know what I'm saying? You really don't. You may not think about it, but he does in a lot of different areas because he's one of the best two-way players, if not the best two-way player.
Right. In the two-way, he mirrors Michael in a lot of ways. On the defensive end, you don't see a lot of players that just take the ball away from the opposition. That's what MJ was able to do on a regular basis. That's what Kawhi is able to do. As far as the mid-range game, that's the part that Doc is talking about. Because MJ, and another move that he is, the multiple between the legs. That was MJ too. We've seen Kawhi yo-yo it a few times. Let me do it again. That was MJ. And then I'm going to pull up from 15, 12, get to a certain spot, a lot like the legendary Bernard King did. So I could see the similarities there. Most NBA players aren't built that way, but this has evolved. And Kawhi, man, he started 3 feet away from the bucket. He talks about San Antonio, how they taught him how to shoot the ball, how to shoot his free throws, and eventually get him through the three-point line. So the evolution, all these young players out there, Ben Simmons, more talent than Kawhi Leonard will ever have. He started off like that. That's the way you develop to become a complete player, and that's what we're witnessing in these.
It's so funny you mentioned Bernard King because that's people go to Michael Jordan, but the Bernard King, which is there's 13 spots on the floor that I want to get to. I will get there, and I will only shoot from those spots. Kawhi's got his spot on the baseline, the corner three, and then the shorter shot, which is the shot he hit to win Game 7. He obviously has the wings, the top of the key. But I want people to understand Doc Rivers, because I think people hear, oh, now he's Michael Jordan. Jordan. He's not saying he's the best player since Michael Jordan. He's saying stylistically he's similar to him. Kobe obviously mirrored his entire game after MJ's, but MJ took much smarter shots than Kobe and did it at a much higher efficiency. Kawhi's efficiency this postseason, the last postseason he played in, has been really, really good. And there are some elements where just to your eye, you could see Michael going to those same spots, taking those same shots. It's not saying the players are comparable. It's stylistically what they're doing. And in this playoff run, he is playing at a near Jordan-esque level on both ends.
All right, Antoine, we're going to see you a little bit later in the show, but coming up, could the Raiders be adding too many big personalities? That's next. And first things first.
Is big personalities a euphemism for bad guys?